Ross, I think the chief thing you missed last week was Ethan drinking like 7 cups of coffee.
Oh my gosh!
During the interview, with
did you get nervous in front of David?
David,
He's a coffee guy. Did you? Did you like?
Dude, I know. I was like, I have to show him how much I love coffee by drinking so much coffee.
Did you have a nervous breakdown?
There was some, after what you found in the AirPod this morning, there was like a bunch of floaties I made an iced batch of Swim.
Oh.
And I was like that all day.
For listeners, Ethan's bit is that he doesn't like coffee. He like only, the long-standing bit, it's really not even funny, is he likes to only have about 4 ounces of coffee per day. Is that right?
care to comment? That's my new bit on the podcast.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know because you didn't listen last
Very
week.
original.
Yeah.
Very original.
Care to comment?
Yeah, I probably drink like, I don't know. I drink some coffee. I just want to taste it, make sure it tastes really good, and enjoy the taste that I have. But I try to stagger my intake pretty intentionally.
Yeah.
I guess I just have like a fear of attachment.
Yeah. Addiction.
No, attachment. It's like a better word than
Addiction.
But no, I mean, this is great. We got a anaerobic Ethiopia on drip. Thank you for this.
Certainly.
Tastes like coconut. I've never tasted the flavor note of coconut in coffee before, but
It tastes really good for being roasted less than 24 hours ago.
True that.
Did you know that, guys? Did you know that the fresher the better is not necessarily true?
break that down. Why?
I have never heard that, actually.
Allow me to enlighten you.
Which one of us do you think knew that first?
Huh. Yeah, probably you, Big T.
I don't know anything.
I wasn't going to say me. I was going to say you.
Oh,
Me?
Yeah, you.
Break that down for me. Care to comment?
That's my thing.
Well, come on, son.
I don't know. I feel like for a minute there, you were just watching like coffee YouTube videos
Yeah.
with every moment of your spare time. And me too. Like, don't get me wrong. I just feel like you would tell me something and then I would tell you something.
What is it about the type of person that whenever they get into something, they like fully get into it, like way too much? You know what I'm talking about? That's kind of me. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was so into RC cars. All right? Like, not like the ones you get at Walmart, like
the legit ones?
The sick ones.
What a cool hobby.
I know. It really brought me and my father together. It was really cool, actually. You can get like nitro-powered RC cars. You can get
Full circle.
Nitro?
Yeah.
That bring you back?
oh man, you can get electric-powered ones. Anyways, when I was into that, it's like all I ever thought about or did. Like every spare second, I would go to my family's desktop computer and look at RC cars. Are you guys that way with stuff? I know you're not.
No.
I am, and then the hobby is just seasonal. And then I move on to something else. And then I come back to the hobby like a year later, and then I'm into it a lot. And then I go away from it, and then I come back to it again.
Was there a time in your life where you did not have a hobby?
No.
Can you list like all of your hobbies that you've ever had?
Well, I mean, I think mainly just because I like started playing cowboy chords when I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And so I just did that. And if I didn't have another hobby, then that was it. And then, I played sports as a kid,
Yeah.
which, you hear people talk about, what are you doing?
People are asking things of me, all right? And I'm trying to help. Just trying to help.
I feel like growing up, you always heard older folk saying how important team sports are.
Yeah.
And I was always just like, whatever. It's just like a game. But now I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
Break that down for me. Care to comment?
Yeah, care to comment? That's how just we stretch on the same topic.
Say more words about that, please.
And I guess that brings me to another interesting point about that.
Here, let's hear it.
Which would have had it been.
I think all sports teach discipline. And then obviously team sports teach teamwork. Man, some really original ideas I'm having here.
We got to write this stuff down.
Dude, no one has ever said that.
But anyways, that was an aside.
Yeah.
What sports did you play?
I played baseball in elementary school, basketball from like elementary school. Yeah, in elementary school. And then middle school, I played soccer. And then high school, I played tennis for my first couple of years.
Do any doubles?
No, I was singles.
I see.
I don't dislike doubles.
Because you didn't like team sports.
Yeah, I don't know how to work on a team.
Right.
Obviously.
Been there.
Yeah.
Been there. What sports did you play?
My big three were baseball, basketball, football. And I sort of did those more or less until high school. Then I stopped all of them. Because then I started playing music.
And you broke your leg?
I broke my leg.
How did you break your leg?
It was in practice.
No.
A gentleman by the name of Taylor Gaddis.
He sounds amazing.
Dude, yes. Oof.
I didn't know that Taylor Gaddis was the culprit.
He really wasn't. It wasn't his fault at all. I went up for a rebound, and I jumped, and I came down, and my ankle, like I stepped on his foot as I was coming down, and it just like snap.
What snapped?
Fibula or tibula, something. Anybody know? Fib-tib?
Fib-tib? I mean,
I'm gonna say tib. I don't think it was your fib. Fib's
All right.
the biggest bone in your body.
femur.
Oh, you're right.
The fib and tib are down low. Yeah, I'm coming in now.
I said that with such conviction.
I know. We should just spread like misinformation on this podcast.
Sorry, yeah.
At all turns.
That's a very sensitive waters you're getting us into.
Did you know that the fibula is the largest bone in your body?
Share that information with someone you love today. Thank you, guys.
Valor Coffee spreading a different kind of medical misinformation
Whoa, yeah.
on Spotify this week.
Yeah, care to
I know.
comment?
Yeah, everybody's doing COVID talks. We're gonna just go for like more like human anatomy, maybe some like anthropology stuff, some really like normal things.
Yeah.
I do have a question around human anatomy. I know we're not, we're still in the like cutting up phase of this podcast. Probably have like an hour left of just meandering. But if you guys were an organ in the human
Oh, my
body,
goodness.
what organ would you be?
We already did this one time
No, we didn't.
in our community group. Remember?
Well, that was like was that body part?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
For sure. You said I was the
Nose.
You're the nose,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm going more internal with organ.
Okay, so we're playing same game, but within the epidermis.
Epidermis.
Hello,
and
welcome to Within the Epidermis. I'm your host,
Rorsch.
Skinny Skinner Pants.
Welcome, Skinner Pants. I'll go first because I asked this question in an interview the other day, and I was like, "This is a good
Really
question."
strange.
It's weird, but I said I was the skin, the largest organ, and that has nothing to do with size, but it was that the skin. Hear me out. The skin is a little like incognito function, as in like you don't know it's not there until it's not there, and a body doesn't really work if you don't have skin. So it's kind of supporting and it's containing a group of organs that are doing very specific tasks. So when I think about myself on a team, I may not shine in any particular area, but I'm for the team and like covering the team and making sure that they're thriving. That's like my role. I feel like so skin.
Wow. All right, what's our next segment?
No, you have to answer.
Just kidding.
Dude, I don't know.
Dude, I mean, kidney, liver, pancreas,
Dude, I don't know
gallbladder.
I don't know what any of those do.
Stomach, lung, heart, small intestine,
That's it.
large intestine.
Did you just mute my mic?
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing your crap.
Come on.
Colon.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Colon, because it sounds the most like a name.
Colon. All right, so you're the colon because you clean up the crap at work.
I clean moldy AirPods.
Yeah, you clean AirPods. All right, dude. What's your organ?
Colon, dude.
You want to be the colon too?
I was gonna say kidneys because I think I'm a pretty good filter.
Yeah, filter. That's great.
When you're on vacation, it's hashtag.
No filter.
No filter.
Shot on iPad
Yep.
And my kidneys hurt because I'm on vacation. You know what I'm saying?
because you're like not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see. I
You
could
should
see
really drink
how
more
you
water.
Stretch that. Yep.
I bet I'm the most hydrated of the three of us.
I do see you with a water glass a lot.
I need to be drinking more.
That is,
Water.
I think you would definitely are in the bottom.
I'm worried about you.
I worry about you constantly, especially when it comes to water.
I'm glad somebody's out there worrying about me.
This is brought to you by Nalgene, the best thing that will hold your water.
I think I'm the most hydrated and the least active.
So it balances out.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think you're the most active because you're running around like chasing a kid?
No.
No.
No, that's, I mean,
Oh, because you let your kid play on an iPad all day, so they're
Yeah.
not really like running around.
dude, you just give her an iPad.
Yeah, care to comment?
Yeah, care to comment? iPad. Welcome to Parenting with iPad.
Are we allowed to talk about how we're all going to be dads? Or no?
You just did, so yeah.
Or you have to give more work to Riley later to edit that out.
No, I'll make some calls before
Just to make sure.
Well, there's some people we haven't announced
I
it.
see.
And I'm sure they watch the program.
And honestly, yes, Matthew.
Okay.
I've been trying to see him and I haven't called him.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet up with him, but I'll just call. And then obviously Kobe.
Yeah.
I have to let him know.
Okay.
But I think that's, and I told most of my family and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, there's going to be some absolute radio gold that follows this. You ready? Tell me if your kid was a body part. What? Just kidding. Just kidding.
What do we think it will be?
No.
What do you hope it will be? What do you think it'll be? And what do you wish it won't be?
And you're going to have to speak in terms
Please don't
of
be a
internal
foot.
body parts for me to understand anything. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, any like reflections with both of your wives being pregnant? I mean, all of our wives are pregnant. I have a kid outside of the womb at this point.
And in and out.
But I mean, you guys' lives, they're about to change. You know, as a wise old man such as myself, like I've been through it, and there's a thing or two I could teach you guys. Is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
Why don't you lay some of that out? Right
Care to
here.
comment on some of this?
Well, have you heard of Socrates?
Hippocrates?
Aristotle's dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He developed something called the Socratical method, and Socratic method, and and he imparted wisdom by asking questions. So that's what I wanted to do for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I'm very goofy today. Yeah, what have you guys been thinking lately? What have you been feeling about your dads? It's just you're fathering a child inside the womb right now. How do you feel about that?
You're up.
I think a lot of the shock and awe of the realization that I'm going to be a father has worn off in the pregnancy stage and will return during the baby in my hands stage.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just a lot of waiting
Yes.
for it to actually happen, which I'm very excited about. Like, I just think about how Trust me, I'm very excited for family time, Michaela. I'm not saying
Is she a listener?
Every now and then. She probably won't listen to this one because it's just the three of us, but she usually listens if there's a
Aw.
guest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't listen to these.
I'm not saying I'm not excited for family time, but one of the things I think about the most is just like me and the boy out for a day together,
Oh,
Yeah.
which will be great.
What do you think you'll do? Like how old is your boy when you visualize that?
14.
Probably like 2.5, 3.
So like Giselle's age,
Yeah.
more or less. Mm-hmm. What do you picture yourself doing?
Probably going to Valor.
Yep,
So heading down south.
heading down south.
I don't know in what instance we would be doing that without Michaela, but
That drive time will not be disclosed because that would reveal where you live, and we're not
yes.
going to do that.
Yeah.
We always talk about where you live. Move on. Get over it, guys.
Okay. Hey, Ross, just be careful with your feet, buddy. You're on the cable.
Again.
Again.
I've never been on a cable. I'm on one.
Probably go to Valor. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, we'd love to have you.
What about, or maybe because coffee
Yeah. I went.
for no reason.
Jethro's.
Because we don't want to reveal where he lives.
Yeah. Maybe a park. Maybe
Yep.
like, I don't know. Go buy some Legos because I want to like build some Legos. Sounds fun for me.
Right, and for him.
And by association, him.
Yeah.
I do have a question on that. A kid, it's its own person. I don't know if you understand that yet, but you don't control the kid.
Can
Wow.
you care to comment on that?
But in that, you're going to let your child discover his own passions. Is there anything you want your kid
Oh
to
yeah.
you're like Legos?
Selfishly, I'm
Football.
already thinking about that.
Yeah.
Really, care to comment?
Yeah, I mean, I
it worked.
I would love to comment. Legos would be great. I don't know about him playing football. That's something I think about.
You don't you're on the fence about
Yeah,
sure, because of head stuff.
my mom didn't.
It's just a concussion.
My mom didn't want me to play football growing up because she was afraid I was going to get hurt. But that was kind of before I think her mindset was like, I don't want him to break his arm.
Oh,
Whereas my mindset is, I don't want him to have head trauma for the rest of his life.
Man.
So I don't know. But that video games sounds great. Yeah.
video game.
But he is his own individual.
Amen.
So whatever his passions are.
Do you think it'll be all VR when in 10 years?
I think it's a ruse.
Oh my gosh.
Like you don't think it's going to stick?
I think it will stick in some capacity, but it's just still. Have you guys done VR?
No.
It's boring.
Boring.
There are some games that are fun, but like you do it and you're like have it on and you're like playing the Beat Saber game with like the music and the lightsabers. You guys seen that?
Nope.
No, but yeah. Oh wait, I've seen commercials.
Yeah.
Love
And you're like,
commercials.
this is fun. I'm gonna go like play
But-
my PlayStation and sit on my couch.
But my thought is, when do you merge that? You're like when you're playing Elden Ring with a VR set. When you're playing the latest Fallout game with a VR set.
Well, the limitation is not being able to walk around.
You can't walk around on a VR?
Yeah, but you use the joysticks. So I'm saying, what's the point of turning your head?
I don't know.
That happening, but you can't walk as
just-
if the character walks.
I just figured they'd try to make it like they're just trying to make it more and more real. So a huge step would be, instead of looking at a screen, the screen is just around your head. But you're like, maybe even have the same controller. Like you have like a PS controller, an
Sure.
Xbox controller, and everything's the same, but it's just a
Just
VR
more
set.
immersive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's
That's what I think about.
that sounds
all
a
the
lot
time.
more realistic than it staying with like the you moving your hands.
Totally.
Unless they figure out a way to take it full Ready Player One and you have like a treadmill.
Yeah. Whose favorite movie was that?
Jack Goyle's.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
We know you're
I know.
listening.
What about you, Ethan? Reflections on being a father soon?
Well, it's new, man. So you guys are well ahead. So we're just coming out of our first trimester right now, and I would say I'm still in the excited processing it for the first time, and it kind of came onto the scene. The idea of having a baby came pretty like hastily around that time. It wasn't like we were processing for years about having a kid, so this is all pretty new sensation. And I'm really excited,
Yeah.
as you can tell. I don't know. I love hanging out with little kids so much. It's super fun. So the more like a lot of my thought life revolves around like infancy, like taking care of a little one, and just navigating that and how to take care of my wife Guppy while she takes care of the little one in a much more involved way due to the nature of our roles.
Human anatomy.
Yeah, back to science, because we're all science heads here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also not one to think that much. Honestly,
I'll
so
get you into some trouble, huh?
I'll give it a try. I'm not thinking. I'm just doing. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just kind of taking it in stride, and so just trying to tend to Meredith now and make sure that she's well. And obviously, this is a harder time, so that's just more present. But I think, yeah, there's that like big chunk where things are borderline normal, but there's just a baby growing, you know?
What do you think you want to do with your kid? Like besides SCOBY stuff, like make kombucha,
Yeah, make kombucha,
rock
like,
climb.
do like
Make kimchi.
make kimchi, sauerkraut.
Mostly like
for a lot of fermenting.
fermenting.
Maybe like, read NPR articles together.
Yeah.
Go like I don't know. I don't even think about that at all.
You really don't think ahead.
Go to Bon Iver
Yeah.
Too much.
concerts.
Yeah.
Which is commendable.
I honestly haven't thought of
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, and I can barely tell you how I'm feeling in the moment too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty removed.
What can you do?
I'm not good for much, I'll say that. I'm just vibing,
Yeah, just floating along.
Yeah.
And we'll all float on.
Move along like I know you will. Move along. Yeah.
So let's move along with this podcast.
Yeah, to Ross. You have to answer your own question.
Yeah. So specifically speaking to the second child being born, I think I'm interested to see just how it will affect our family dynamic, like with the three of us. Obviously, people I know, like friends that are ahead of me, they have 2 or 3 kids. They just say, yeah, there is an adjustment, but like once you're in that season, it's like, this is how we always should have been. Not like regrettably we should have had kids sooner or whatever, but I just mean like once you're in it, it's like, this is our family. Like it doesn't matter how the family dynamic has changed because like this is just who we are now. And so I'm excited for that. And I think so much of it has to do with like the mindset of like, are kids primarily a hassle and a hindrance to your own life, or are they a blessing? Like, are they actually in a huge life enriching, fulfilling thing? And of course, you can be in either mindset and adopt the other mindset. Like, I generally think that kids are a blessing, and I totally think that, but also they are a hindrance sometimes. But I think like overall looking at it as if like even though there might be like less personal time for me, or like I have to, fight for more quality time with my wife. It's viewing kids just as a massive blessing, like just changes how you feel about it. Another completely original thought.
That is some words of wisdom from Daddy.
Thanks, Daddy.
Yeah.
Man. Boys, what do you guys want to talk about?
I have a question.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're about
Mr.
to
Questions.
unless
today.
you're about to go on something.
That's a Socratical mindset.
Socraticals.
So great.
Socraticalism. Socraticalismic.
What's Well, yeah, it's good to have an answer to your own question before you ask the question. But what's the best piece of advice you guys have got recently?
Who's talking to me?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, who do I talk to?
Okay, this is super small. It's not small, but it was like a operational insight. But and it revolves around work, so we're bringing it back to work. When you sign a lease or like go under contract on a space like this roastery or cafes, someone has to guarantee. What does it mean to be a guarantor? That you're like fully responsible to pay rent no matter what happens, basically. Like if the company goes bankrupt, you're still on the hook. And we started doing this thing where we would just put like one person on from our three. That's just how we thought it would work best. But then a older, wiser businessman, Roy, was like, hey, you can put all three of your names down on everything you do, so it like is less scary for one person to be on the hook for one thing if it goes down and the other guys have no like reason to help you.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great. Thank you so much for that insight. And so shifting to that model of like all of us sharing the load on ongoing projects relieves a lot of stress, a lot of like independent anxiety about the company, because there's enough worry and stress owning your own business, and so if there are some ways to mitigate that via partnership, I'd say take it.
Yeah.
So that was some cool business advice I received that I was really appreciative for. Thanks, Roy. Happy birthday on Friday. Happy Earth Day.
Birthday.
You guys gonna be there? Come on.
I don't know.
Birthday.
I would love to be there.
It's amazing. Did I buy you enough time?
I don't have an answer for this.
Do you have an answer?
I have a question.
Wait. The advice is a question?
No, while I'm thinking of my advice thing, just something you said. You talk about like the company, being a business owner, and your company is seemingly like constantly taking on more responsibility. Like we're on the hook for more things, I feel like, every year, whether it's signing a lease, whether it's taking a loan out, or,
Putting people on your payroll.
yeah, you're just responsible. And every once in a while, I just have the thought like, wait, at the end of the day, like I am personally responsible for like, maybe you guys can educate me on this, like, and our listeners, like, what's the point of having an LLC? Because I think that has something to do with it. Like the company is maybe legally, this entity, this LLC entity you're making is legally responsible for something, so that like if people sue you, they can't come after your personal assets. Is that part of an LLC? Yes.
Maybe we shouldn't dive too far into things that we don't know everything about.
What? Why?
Because then, we can always preface all like, we're not legally
Legal advice.
legal advice, and please do not use any of this information to apply to your business.
Sure.
Whereas to thereof,
We could, or we could just be like, we know everything.
Yeah.
that would be cooler.
Misinformation. But I guess my question is like, we went through this little phase in our friendship / business partnership where we were listening to these business podcasts, and most of the business podcasts were about like tech companies. People that start tech companies, they have an invention or an idea for an app or whatever, and their whole idea is to build it up super fast, get a ton of investors, venture capital, and then make money and then sell it off for millions, right? And so they're just like, when they take on venture capital, they're giving away equity to their company, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so when they do that, are they in debt, or did they like exchange the money for equity? Do you know what I'm saying?
Are you asking that
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
rhetorically?
No,
No rhetoric whatsoever.
I don't know anymore.
Yes, they are exchanging. The venture capitalist Susie is buying equity with her money.
Right. Okay. But whenever you take a loan out from a bank,
There's no equity involved.
there's no equity involved,
Yeah.
and you're just paying this thing off over.
You have to give the money back.
They usually have a lien on some of your assets in the same way that the bank has a lien on your car when you take a bank loan.
Yeah. So we have some loans, yes?
What?
They're not necessarily bank loans.
We do? Man,
What have
wonder
you
when we have to
done,
start
Ross?
paying those back. I haven't really thought about that.
They should come for us. They'll come to us.
Ross is the guarantor on everything.
Yeah.
So
Again. Dang it. It's just funny that you take a loan out and you just really believe in yourself enough that you're going to pay it back with your business. That's all I'm saying.
Well, business philosophy 105, all right? You just build your loan repayment into your business model.
Right.
And that is the way that we have premisized Valor.
Socraticalized.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been.
Oh, yeah.
When we maxed out a $10,000 credit card, it was like, okay, if we can make this much, we can pay this much back over this amount of time, and it'll be gone.
Yeah.
It's just that same plan is just more broad. Like how many years? Funny enough, isn't that so cool? Because we bootstrapped the first cafe. It's not going to be much longer till we're like.
No, First Cafe will be free and clear by the end of next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Great news.
The second cafe is a different story.
Second Cafe is a different story. We won't talk about too much.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We'll just take more out if we need it.
Yeah.
We'll take that out to pay the first one. What's that called?
Fraud?
Yes.
Bad?
Reallocation.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about cafe number 2. Thanks for laughing, guys. Is
So funny.
that our espresso machine is 20% of our budget?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of
As it
sick?
stands.
Yeah.
What machine are we going with? Go a few minutes on that.
We are going with a Fama.
Hey, no disrespect
No,
to
We're
Fame.
going with a 5-group Fama custom build.
Dang.
No.
50K.
We are going with a Mod Bar
Lord willing.
ABR.
ABR.
Lord willing, right?
Yeah.
You know.
We
Yeah.
might be going with a 3-grape strata, no volumetrics.
Yeah, because that's what we have in the roastery.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is have, because with the mod bar, in case you don't know, it's instead of all of the brew heads and the steam wands being built into a chassis, an on-counter chassis that we affectionately call an espresso machine. They are the head comes out of the counter. I don't know if you maybe pull up a picture or not, but
Read the room, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Introduce.
yes,
Look at
there it
this
is.
gorgeous
For our
video.
YouTube viewers, you can see.
I love YouTube.
Did you see that video? It like went and then it stopped when it got to the end of the bar. That's pretty hot.
That is so cool. So, anyways, our plan was to do brew head from left to right. Brew head, brew head, brew head. So 3.
Brewhead. Sounds like a
German punk
yeah.
song.
It's exactly what I was.
Brewhead, Brewhead.
Oh, you can't say that or do that.
It's just Germans.
Anyways, so brew head, brew head, brew head.
Stop.
Steam wand, milk pitcher rinser, steam wand, from left to right. Right. So, and there's a grinder. There's grinders on both sides of the brew heads too, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, it enables us to have essentially like all the espresso happens on the left side of the bar, and then all of the drink building happens on the right side of the bar, and you can have 2 drink building stations, which we affectionately call Expo. Expo is the
It's
drill.
short for
We had this conversation before. It's not short for anything, right? Oh, expedite.
expedite, and then I just realized export. Like you're sending things out.
Yeah, for the export stations.
Exportations.
Expedork.
So you can. It's modular, aka mod bar, and you can arrange.
It's the
them.
way you want it.
They
Yes.
also make this
pour
which,
overs.
Funny enough, we haven't even really humored
I mean, humored it.
this as opposed to the touch.
Well, yeah, the touch. It's a tankless hot water heater, and
Tone touch.
I bet that one has a tank. If I had to guess.
What's
Yeah,
so bad
I mean-
about a tank?
Yeah, in a new space.
Who cares?
Space saving. That's
Space saving.
under counter.
What?
Dude, this is a
Under-counter storage.
10,000 square foot cafe.
Yeah, you're right.
This is a 18,000 square
18
foot.
Warehouse.
Million thousand square foot space.
Yeah, I know this would be more expensive, and I mean we have so much money to play with, so that's like not even.
Yeah, I
Well, we
mean,
got a loan.
Yeah, we got a loan.
Somebody else's money.
I'm glad we finally are starting to like get business. You know,
What's going on with the guitars there?
It's about their story. It's saying like bandmates, hand sketches during their late night conversations, CAD drawings.
That's a banjo. Is it?
Banjitar. No, it's a banjo.
Is that like a bluegrass? And I see a upright bass.
How about that?
they are from Indiana, so read the room.
I don't know if this does auto.
Say,
I think it does. I've seen it work. Yeah, it's store up to 10 volume and time-based recipes.
does it have dual boilers?
What?
Yes, it has dual boilers with 2-zone PID temperature control, actually.
Wow,
2-zone.
I'm impressed.
Dual zone.
Maybe
Stereo zone.
Maybe we'll look into it, right?
Yeah, we'll look into it.
It's like,
See what
it's like
happens.
$200,
Yeah, it's probably only like a few $100.
It's like three or four.
like the price of a utility cart.
Yeah, a couple UCs.
Couple
I would
UCs
I would
later.
be in if you could do 2 to 1 module, but I totally bet you can't for some reason.
But it's a dual boiler.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure. But anyways, it's been really fun to design another cafe, right, boys? I mean, fun is one word you could use for it.
Yeah. This is kind of sick. I'm going to say it anyways, but I kind of like when things get like crazy. Like the abstract design part where you're just like dreaming big, I don't really enjoy that much. But it's like when everything gets there and you just have to like
Oh yeah.
put it all together and like make things work. That's where I'm like, this is fun.
on one hand, the whole premise of spending money that you are liable for and could be going to something else within your company, etc., is very scary. And it's like one of the things that keeps me up at night. But on the other hand, spending a lot of money at one time to buy a lot of equipment that's going to make you more money and is like cool stuff is thrilling.
Yeah, it's nice when it's cool stuff. It's a bummer when like you're just buying refrigerators and sinks and
Or your
No,
plumbing bill is tens
refrigerators
of thousands
are
of dollars.
very cool.
well, not the ones we get.
Get it?
Oh man,
We love to hear that. Thank you so much.
Michaela really comes at me sometimes with some random funny jokes. Like the other day, she got a milkshake from Shake Shack, and she was
Yum.
like, "Man, this straw like really sucks." And she was like, "A normal person would hear me say that and be like, oh, I guess it's working, huh?" And I was like, "You just said that?"
You're like, whoa, I'm sorry that straw is underperforming for you. You're like, no, it's doing its job.
Same with vacuums. Anyways,
Hey,
But
you go.
on the note of cool refrigeration, we are getting a pretty cool refrigerator. We're excited about reach-in cooler. Hello.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
stupid how expensive it
We're
is.
totally
but
getting that too.
yeah, no doubt about it.
Oh man, the reach in. It's gonna be fly.
what were you about to say, buddy?
I was gonna say on the topic of straws.
Oh my god.
What? There's a lot of people doing the no straw, which is cool.
Yeah.
It did make me want to do the no straw because I just spent like an insane amount of money on a pallet of agave straws. I really like the agave straws that we have in the cafe, but I don't know if I told you guys this, but I was standing outside having a conversation with someone and a group of people came out and they're all like, I think these straws are dirty. And I was like, oh, people think this.
You heard it for the first time?
Yeah.
Because it was a rumor before.
It was a rumor. Yeah. Or if anybody has like a qualm, they might just be like, hey, what's up with this straw? When you're like face to face with someone. This was like outside of the shop, so no one could say something. So I said, hey, they're made of agave. But then we just got these ones in and they're like super dark. And you would be crazy to think that they're dirty. But the ones that we had prior were like very clear with speckles.
Cloudy.
Cloudy.
Yeah.
Murky. Anyways, I was just thinking about straws and you brought them up. So there you go.
Right on. Yeah, totally.
More straw content? Turtle buddies?
Yeah, let's talk Turtle Buddy. This whole building a cafe phase, especially this time, we're going to be doing it with all three of us having children looming on the horizon, and I know it's going to line up to be an insane period. I know it's going to line up like that, where we're supposed to be tiling in our new cafe during the week that a child is to come or something. But anyways, when you're in this moment, it feels at times miserable, just to be honest. And when you look back on it, you're like, those are some of my most fond memories of work within the company.
Yeah.
Like doing that really hard stuff and building. Do you remember when Roy used to tell us that?
No.
Speaking of Roy,
I remember that, yeah.
when we were at the cart, he was like, you guys need to hustle this out and just be the three of you as long as you possibly can, because you're going to look back on this, even though it sucks now, and be like, yeah, we're doing smart stuff back then.
I think that's because there's just something so magical about like your hand moving the plow. Like just the idea of like us tiling the backsplash. Like that's going to be one of the most memorable things that I've ever done in Valor. Isn't that funny? And it's just like there's such a
Torben.
yeah, there's such a pride in your hand making something, and like if you didn't do it, it wouldn't have happened. And like it can be easy to Like I've had so many different conversations with you guys about like strategy and vision. It's like I'm probably not going to remember any of those, even though they're necessary. But it's the like putting your hand to the plow that and like grinding it out that's super memorable.
Yeah, there's definitely times when it is just way more reasonable and smart to pay someone to do something. But I wonder what kind of things you miss out on if you just like that was all your company was you're just like a brain and you just get people to do the things. Do you guys have any times of the absolute rough sledding that is fun to you? I think a couple of things that come to my mind are how many weeks was it before the first cafe was done that we genuinely were there, like 20 hours a day typically, or like 18 to 20 hours a day?
I would say genuinely the 18 hour a day type of days, we probably had 2 weeks of that, right?
Yeah. That was insane.
Yeah.
Just waking up, doing the cart by day, the pop-up by day, and then the construction. Because I guess we were doing a lot of like equipment. I'm trying to think about what we were doing. I mean, because just doing your first cafe, I feel like there's so many small.
Yeah, I mean, we just had to like wash all the dishes, you know?
Yeah. Washing all the dishes, getting all the equipment set up.
Like putting tables on the legs.
Yep. Yeah, but and it seems like such a normal thing that you would just have to do during the day, but having to work like 10, 11 hours, pause, eat dinner, and then
there are some pictures of us in that time frame where we look sickly.
Oh, totally.
That one story of you jamming out to Immigrant Song.
Oh yeah. I think there's one on Meredith's Instagram.
Ooh. While you're looking for that, I also just often there's a lot of me, huh? And a lot of Ross. I think about some of those events, man. That was just some of the most quintessential, like, crappy moments that are now so funny and so fun. Riley's wedding with oh yeah, there we are. Oh my gosh.
I think we looked a little more energized because we'd just gotten our permits. Which, how crazy is it that 3 idiots can take a business to the point of getting permits from the government?
That is a good question, and a college student, Ariel's little brother Benjamin, had to like interview a business owner for a class, and so he was asking me some questions. He was like, would you recommend a business owner in your field going to school to like feel more prepared for what they're doing? And I was like, I don't know, because it's interesting. We just kind of like walked into every situation with a certain measure of like humility and like openness. And we're just basically at the hands of a lot of government entities and a lot of people that know what they're doing. And we would just have to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I would love to figure out how. And I feel like there was a lot of grace. There was a lot of help. I remember just emailing the Fulton County health inspector who is like going to come and give us the inspection. And I was like, hey, I've never done this before. What do you want to see in the space so that we can pass and get a 100? And she was like, I'm really glad you asked that. Not a lot of people ask that question. They just assume that we're not going to help you. She's like, I'm going to grade you on all of these things. And so I have this like cheat sheet. Now I'm just like, oh, okay, we both want us to have a really clean and organized space with all of these proper files and documents on hand. So I was like, I'll get them ready. And then it was smooth sailing. Yeah. So that was a good lesson learned of like sometimes you just have to go through it. But if you go through it with openness and reception, fare all right.
I think the note about college is like, back to the question of, would you recommend someone in your shoes pursuing what you pursued to go to college first. Because to clarify, the only college graduate here is Ethan. Full stop.
Who wants to say it?
But it was an associate's degree, so it doesn't count.
And it was in journalism, so it really plugged in well to this.
It was basically core classes. And then maybe, two journalism classes?
Maybe like two to three media classes and then
Yeah.
a journalism class.
So, I mean, why don't you answer that, Ethan? I mean, do you think you took any skills from your associate's degree to the business? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
No.
What about like general work ethic?
No.
No.
And maybe someone, and that's personal because someone could learn to work hard in college. It's just when in life are you going to get challenged, and when in life are you going to choose to receive the challenge? It just happened to me
It's good.
before college.
Yeah.
Some people will probably hit that wall when they move out of their parents' house and like go to a college, and they're like get their first like D- after getting all A's in high school, and they're like, oh crap. And they're like, all right, I'm going to step up and start rocking it.
Yeah.
But school was always just kind of like a thing for me. So I think working outside of school, maybe football, my parents making me,
Back
team
to team
sports,
sports.
discipline.
Hey, for real.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, having to do like running around in the Georgia sun, I mean, that teaches you a lot. And I give a lot of credit to my mom and my parents for always pushing me as a kid and like making us do service work and charity and volunteer stuff at our church. And so we were always kind of pushed to press and do more and grow. And especially being homeschooled, had a lot of like independent study because both my parents worked. So it was just like always up to us to do the stuff. So yeah, personal experience, college didn't do anything for me. No offense, but I'm sure it could do something for someone else.
Yeah. That's such a good point of like, when in life were you challenged to the point where you feel like you couldn't give any more, but you absolutely had to make it? Like, and I can remember times like even running cross country, like there are times where you're like, you're rounding the corner to the finish line, and you're obviously dead tired because you've been going as hard as you can go. You're trying to pace yourself the whole way, but the last stretch, you literally have to, it's the hardest point, and you have to run the fastest you've ever run in the whole race. It's like you have a guy next to you and you're running, and you can either choose to run at the same pace that you were running at, or you can choose to sprint and like test the limits of your body. And it's like the mind that makes that decision. It's not your body. And that taught me something. Like the moment where you feel like you cannot give any more, but yet you have to give the most you've ever given. That reminds me of the cafe. Of like, we're rounding the corner towards the finish line, and we are absolutely bleeding money. And the only way to get through the storm is to go through it and start making money.
I think we got one of those times coming again, boys.
Yeah, thankfully we get to relive that again.
Man,
Wow.
What wisdom, Ross.
Thank you, Ross.
Thanks, Daddy.
Thanks, Daddy Ross.
Just ask your dad anytime. I'll talk to you about cross country.
I have talked to people who have business degrees who said yeah and no to it being worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel as if I would have had a business degree, I would have known what a P&L was a little before I did.
It wouldn't have taken a Google search.
Yes. It would have taken a $5,000 class or whatever. So, I'll take that class over the Google search any day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I've also talked to people who were asking me. I remember specifically talking to a guy who, props to him, like very humble, had a business degree, but was asking me how to start a business, who did not know what an LLC was. He didn't know what a profit and loss was. He didn't know what QuickBooks was. So I mean, like, you know, it. But he had the piece of paper,
Whoa.
and I'm sure he learned some other things that
And
would
the
have
debt.
been helpful for his degree that were maybe more abstract or maybe not in that specific category. So to answer your question, I think if you want to I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, it's probably a lot more helpful to focus all of your time and effort into learning more about your field than learning about business. And, you know, some best practices, business wise, you know, you can take a online class from one of those online
Master class.
Yeah, about how to do a lot of that stuff.
Totally.
And then, you know, become an expert on coffee or hospitality. And, you know, the time you were going to spend and the money you were going to spend towards school, what if you spent that towards coffee? I know that's crazy, but
Don't pick coffee if you're going to do that, though. Hey,
Ross.
we'll record another program, a reaction program to this one, whenever Valor is no longer a thing, and we're either trying to get another job without a college degree, and we'll see how well this show ages.
I wonder how owning a business for X amount of years looks on a
Dude,
resume.
I have wondered that because I see that on whenever I review resumes for Valor, I see like, you know, whatever company I've never heard of, comma, owner, 2016 to present. And I usually don't care that they did that.
you don't, it's no like play in favor of their motivation and
Maybe
drive.
a little bit, but for whatever reason, I just write it off as like, oh, I've never heard of that. Maybe that's wrong of me, but that's my thought process.
I put that on my Chrome Yellow resume, and that's why I got hired because I lived in Dawsonville.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I was actually interested to hear your response because when I was giving my answer about the college thing, I was like, the only person that might have wanted to say yes was you because you handle a lot of like not specific to coffee business aspects of Valor. You know, like I'm just doing coffee stuff and like people stuff, which is very specific to our industry. But that's an interesting take. With that said, we're all getting our MBAs. So
Are we?
Honorary.
yeah. Ooh, I want an honorary MBA.
Maybe
That sounds a lot easier.
Yeah.
maybe grow the company a bit more, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, he asked me if I ever wanted to like go back to school, and I was like,
It's funny because he was doing this for his college
Yeah,
class, so you kind of almost wanted to be like, yeah, college.
yeah, college. I did try to go tasteful, you know, diplomatic.
One time, I never followed through on it, or maybe they didn't follow through on it. I don't know. Several years ago, someone from like Cambridge High School, like a parent or someone or a teacher, was like, "I want you guys to come speak at our school
Senior day.
and like speak to a class, like to the business class or something like that." And I just thought about that, and I was like, if I went in there, I would be like, "I don't have a degree.
You don't need one?
If you want to start a business, just go do it and don't waste your time and money."
Then get kicked out of high school.
Yeah. But I feel like I was having this conversation in person and I said something along those lines and they were like, "Oh no, we're like really progressive in that way. Like we just want people to do what they're empowered to do."
Live their truth.
Yeah, just live their own truth,
Oh, yeah.
which is cool,
That is cool.
especially from the public school system.
Go Bears. Cambridge. I wonder if it was
There you go again.
Brian.
It was not Brian.
Really?
Love that guy. He's so
He's great. It was a lady. I think she was
Lauren?
No, I know Brian and Lauren, okay? I think it might have been a parent. It might have been like a PTA, PTO type of person. PTSO.
Wow, PTO.
I think it's PTSO now.
Parent time off.
Yeah, parent time off.
Oh.
Parent teacher student organization.
Well, this was kind of an edgy topic. Do you go to college? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Ross said he wanted to talk about something a little edgier today. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you want to like
Dig into.
Like, is coffee really a fruit?
Are birds real?
Oh, that is funny. That whole thing. I read a nice long article about it, and I was like, "This is funny. This is a cool idea."
How about this? I'm thinking about something you said about the things that your parents made you do that taught you work ethic and that taught you work ethic.
Expound on that.
And I'm just imagining, like, if you had an iPhone when you turned 8, like, how would you be different today?
This is way too edgy. You need to steer clear.
It reminds me of one of my favorite books that I've ever read, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. Shout out. He's just talking about, and it's really convenient for everybody to kind of crap on screens and phones. People like to do that, but here I go. He was talking about Martin Luther King Jr. And his legacy and his mark on history and his faith and his morals and I guess what made him who he was. And I could be telling the story wrong, but this
That's okay.
podcast, misinformation is a huge theme, so it's fine. That's kind of our thing. But he was talking about this moment that was documented in Martin Luther King Jr.'s life. And it was, I think maybe the next day or maybe the day of, he was receiving tons of threats. And the next day he was supposed to do a march, or he was supposed to do some sort of public appearance. And obviously he was super scared. And, he had this huge mountain of fear, like real fear. People were trying to kill him. And so, he's up against the wall. And he tells a story like he woke up in the middle of the night and, full of fear. And he walked into his kitchen and he just had this really, I guess, just defining moment of being strengthened. And I guess he woke up the next morning and went and kicked ass. And I think the question that John Mark Comer was asking was what if Martin Luther King Jr. had an iPhone and he woke up in the middle of the night and just started scrolling on TikTok? Would he have left the legacy that he left? Would he have just stayed in fear that night and numbed his pain with his phone? And I think of so many moments for me where if I'm on my phone, it's really easy for me to just escape in general, escape whatever emotion I'm feeling, good or bad. A screen can numb the best emotion or the worst emotion. And I just think about how in those moments where as a kid, if I would have had an Instagram when I was 11, would I have been out learning lessons on the cross country, team? I don't know. Maybe. I played a lot of video games, to be fair. I mean, I didn't play a ton, but so that's a screen. But
I played a ton.
You did. But I don't know. It's just interesting. Martin Luther King wakes up in the middle of the night and he has a choice to either sit in his crappy emotions that don't feel good. But that led to a huge revelation and being strengthened and encouraged, which gave him, sustenance to go tackle a mountain of fear the next day. I wonder how that affects
It's incredible.
starting businesses. What kind of businesses in this generation that we're in now, where screens are so easily, like my daughter, I just give her an iPad and, just kidding. I really don't do
Right
that.
when she wakes up. Good morning.
Good morning.
But to be honest and fair, there are times where you
Yeah.
are like, we need this moment of
Yeah.
calm, which
Yeah.
is the the beauty of technology.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's an analog to that in our childhood, right? Like where our parents gave us a TV show, but it was like Tom and Jerry or whatever.
Yeah.
And, it did this more or less the same thing.
Everything in moderation. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Very original.
Yeah.
That's what you say.
Very true, though. I wonder if we're going to see less or more businesses started. Are we going to see different types of maybe more tech-focused businesses where, I don't know, how old do you have to be to trade crypto to get on Coinbase? Is there an age limit?
I mean, you can probably just do it under your parents.
You put your birthday on there in their bank account.
Sure.
I don't know.
I think there's really something to that. Like, and this again is not an original thought whatsoever, but so much of originality comes from being bored. And
Yep.
I am never bored anymore because I look at my phone. And I was thinking about this and how I want to start my day with this. Just more silence and maybe more writing or something along those lines. And I actually did it yesterday.
Come on.
That's awesome.
So just, sitting down and really letting your thoughts just be with you, because I think that's where you can have your ideas. Like yesterday, it wasn't like a big revelation or anything. But I really got on like this thought of like, why are we not posting podcast clips as reels on Instagram? Because like they don't even have to be in your normal feed. They can just go to like your reels feed.
Yeah.
And that thought came out of my sitting in silence.
This can be our first reel.
Someone just told me that. They're like, because we talk about I'm sorry, I'm quick tangent back to what you're saying. We get a lot of people talking about the podcast in the cafe, which is such an encouragement. And someone was like, they're so long. And someone was like, well, I love listening to long format stuff. And then the person was like, well, if you like certain clips, you can put reels on Instagram so people can still see like some good meat in there. And I was like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool timing.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, there's like, I was going to say there's a lot of like cool businesses and inventions coming, but I'm just like, which of them are going to stand the test of time that aren't just replicas or like souped up versions of other businesses coming out. And the only ones that I can think of are usually started by older inventors. And then, I mean, that's kind of like the whole premise of Tim Ferriss's podcast is he talks to these people and he asks them like what they do. And none of them say, yeah, when I get bored, I sit on my iPhone. Usually it's like, I mean, realistically, it's things that like take discipline, like exercise and meditation or something.
Sure.
Whereas a lot of times, if I have a free moment, I'm scrolling Instagram and wasting my time on things I do not remember. I don't remember what I looked at on Instagram yesterday.
Ooh.
I don't remember what I looked at on Instagram this morning.
Yeah. But yet it captivates your attention. Unless it's a really good meme, then you share it.
Yes.
Right. And then it's very memorable.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of fasting. Like fasting is like this, I don't know. You're like creating this deprivation. It's like a simulation of depriving yourself of the thing, probably one of the most important things in life, food, or, fasting, whatever it is. Making yourself be deprived, I feel like is an amazing thing to do, especially for us rich Americans. Like a social media fast, again, not original, but depriving yourself of that, who knows what gold that could lead to in your life of like simulating boredom. That way, when you break out the phone again, like maybe you don't go as long.
Yeah.
I've gone in and out of that so many times, you know, like of doing a fast, calling it a fast, or just like, you know, deleting all social media. I get on that train for a while, and then more or less, like I can always find myself like back scrolling.
For me, it's like if I have Instagram deleted, I just spend all my time on YouTube.
That's what I mean. Yeah. YouTube is so much more addicting than it used to be. It used to just be like funny videos. And now,
or you're just going to get the video you were trying to watch.
Yes. Yeah, like a destination. Now it's like totally the scroll thing and the like algorithm of like optimizing what they think you would want to see next to keep you on the app.
Yeah, man. It's all about comfortability.
I was having a hard time saying that word the other day.
That's what it all is. That's what your phone is, a comforting device. And you know, we use phones and iPads as comforting devices for kids. It's like, but I mean, that scales up to no matter how old you are. If you're uncomfortable at a party, there's like a moment of awkward silence, you pull out your phone and you look at it.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's the things that make us uncomfortable in life that really lead to growth. So right now I am in transparently a season of complete comfortability. I'm not exercising. My diet's bad. But it's like those sorts of things. Anything that offers resistance usually will lead to some amount of tangible growth within yourself.
Yeah.
Totally original thought I just had there, for sure.
You're full of them today, man. No, that's a good word. What I was thinking about when you first brought all this up was like, I think it's a very true statement that this concept of distraction has gotten more powerful and more potent over the years. But by no means do I think that there hasn't always been very captivating forms of distraction.
Yeah.
Even in 1960s, Big Dog King Jr. could have turned on his TV. He probably had. People had books that you can immerse yourselves in. There's always forms of distraction and like pleasure to keep us from feeling the sting of growth and suffering. And so it's just a powerful choice we have to make in those spaces, you know. But there is something to kind of what you're talking about, just getting, the more embedded you get in those rhythms, the more you're like kind of under I want to think like the current of a river, where you get lost in it and you're flowing pretty far, and just the further you go down, the longer it takes to get back to where you once were, like upstream. That's hard, man. And you guys talk about Instagram and all that stuff, but even if someone like on paper looked at my lifestyle choices, he'd be like, oh, well, this guy doesn't have any problems with distraction. He doesn't have a TV in his house. He doesn't have Instagram on his phone. He doesn't have games or anything like that. But still, I mean, there's just like, you can find it in anything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
YouTube's real.
NFL highlights.
I'm a sucker for NFL highlights, SNL compilations, movie trailers.
Movie trailers? Really?
I love movies so much, but deciding to not watch a lot of movies because of like certain content, I still will like watch all movie trailers, like especially all the like Oscar ones. Because movie trailers these days, they're just the movie. Am I right, people? I would say the only, you know you're going to be getting into a good movie when the movie trailer is not like that. For example, Jordan Peele's latest movie trailer is crazy. It's called like Nope. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
it's just like a wild scene. And I was like, oh, wow, I kind of think I know what's going on here, but I have no idea what's actually going on here. I want to watch this movie.
I feel like The Northman is has some good trailers.
Yeah.
I'm going to see that movie, and I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like it establishes some themes and maybe like the idea, but then
Some characters.
how that develops is totally unknown. Versus Michael Bay's Ambulance. If anyone saw, I don't know what we were seeing a movie together. Do you know what we were seeing?
Dune, right?
Dune. It was like a 3 to 4 minute trailer that was no joke. The movie. There was no like bouncing around. It was like it worked itself chronologically, and you're like.
To the part where you know that it was the climax of the film. I guess it's Michael Bay, so it's an explosion at all points. But
Well, the trailer is just going to be geared towards the demographic they want to get.
Totally.
You know, like all the hipsters will watch Nope, and then all the normies will watch the other ones.
Totally.
Funny enough, the Marvel movies aren't critically good movies, but their trailers usually don't give away much at all.
I feel like it has to do with like
Shock and awe factor, maybe.
Yeah, well-
Surprises, Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. It's like Dune. I feel like their business model was, all right, we know this is nerdy and no one knows what this is, but let's get some awesome actors in here and let's make the trailer really, really approachable so that the people that care about Dune, like you guys, will watch it because it's Dune, and the people like me who have no idea what Dune is will go and watch it because the trailer was approachable. Well, like Marvel, like everybody would go watch that anyways, so they don't have to make the trailer like edgy or like cliffhanger.
I guess specifically I'm thinking about Endgame. The Endgame trailers were the first 4 minutes of the film, like, which is
really?
Like the first 10 minutes or whatever. Mm-hmm. With no explanation of plot. Like that was all surprise for once you got to the movie theater. And then the same thing with No Way Home, Spider-Man. Like clearly everyone, that's a little bit of a different scenario because everyone knew what was coming, but they clearly didn't show the big surprises. Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I just didn't know that there was going to be spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Isn't that funny? We were talking about distractions and we totally just started talking about movie trailers. We were
Speaking of,
did someone say movie trailer?
I have a funny distraction story.
Please.
Yesterday, towards the end of my workday, when I was sending you and Mikey those messages about inventory, I typed in thanks with several S's. It might have been just a Mikey in a different message. I don't remember. But whenever I did that, I went to Safari to look up a picture of a snake that I was going to attach to the message. And then I just looked up snake, saw the game Snake, and then I played Snake for 10 minutes.
That's a good distraction.
that is really funny.
That's where it's just a good time.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
You get to go home, you played a little game.
I was working from home, so I thought about like if Michaela would have walked in, I'm like during the end of my work hours, and I'm just like sitting there playing Snake, and I'm just like,
Yo.
Oh man.
Sweet time.
Well, if you're still watching,
hey, how about a call to action?
call to action. A benediction.
Between this podcast and next podcast, let's all focus on one way that we want to be uncomfortable over the course of the next week.
Identifying a distraction and replacing it with stillness.
Yeah. If you're listening and you want to do this, send us an Instagram message or an email to info@valor.coffee. Tell us what your distraction is. Tell us how you're going to remedy it. And maybe we'll share it on the podcast next week.
There you go.
Inspire some other people.
That's good.
Does anything come to mind for you boys already?
Well, I'm starting back up the fast life.
Come on.
Actually, before.
The fast life.
Yeah.
Life in the fast lane.
Life in the fast lane.
Life is a highway.
Life is a highway. Wise words, rascal.
Mr. Rascal.
That was a cover. Just saying.
Who wrote that? I thought they wrote it.
Geddy Lee.
No. It's a cover because the
Pinot.
first version is way worse for sure.
Yeah. I guess we could play it, but we'd get sued, right?
We would get
Our-
What's wrong with a little
absolutely
Sue?
Our
Come on.
LLC would get sued.
Tom
Cochrane?
Cochrane?
Tom Cochran, yeah. that makes sense.
Julius Coltrane.
Oh, yeah. Anyways,
Ooh, yeah. It's the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. I'm starting the fast life back,
Removing food.
and social media, and like any sort of content,
Read books.
like for a day. Yeah.
Nice.
Besides like Bible. So,
I love.
do you think we get sued for playing that?
No way.
There's no way they gotta.
Such a funny video.
There's no copyright surrounding that.
That should be our theme song.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, that's me. Except I'm not supposed to tell anyone that, so I'm screwed.
You just received.
Might as
your
well not
reward.
do it, right?
I just received my reward. Oh boy.
For me, I have to think about it. I love that when I get on with that. I think a big thing is the way we start our days. So trying to start with a lot of silence, not going for the phone, not going for the email or the news out of the gate, not going for anything in the ears on the drive to work, and letting like the first thing like the first interaction we have be with a person, that will be with my wife in the morning, but after that, another human. I think we've talked about that before. It's a sweet thing.
Yeah, mine's going to be pretty similar. Just on my drive to work the next 2 days, prior to that, I'm not going to touch my phone until after I get to work, other than putting it in my pocket.
What if I need you though? What if I need to need?
Okay, unless Ross calls me. Sorry, Ethan. Ross asked first.
Okay.
I won't touch my phone until I get to work.
I'm gonna call
Except
you.
for playing my audiobook.
Yeah. What's your audiobook?
I'm not going to disclose that here. We'll talk about it after we get off.
Okay.
It's Dune.
I'm gonna call you and give you a play-by-play of my Instagram feed in the morning.
So I can
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
So we're looking at a coffee here, a slightly asymmetrical Rosetta. All right. Next, we've got a. No,
Wait, what was next? I'm just kidding.
not creative enough. Sorry.
Wait,
Yeah, what's up?
just to encourage, listeners to become watchers. I cut my own hair last night. So if you want to see my haircut, you have to watch the YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything you want to say about this mug?
You did a better job than I would expect from you.
Thanks.
Your hair's kind of light right now.
Summer or spring.
You've been outside, no?
You could definitely benefit from having Meredith touch it up.
Ooh.
As in like right behind your ears.
Oh, totally.
It's not bad. I think you did a great job. Really.
I'll receive the feedback too.
It overall it looks better than last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it starts to go out. And us humans don't like to look at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, what do humans like? I'm going to cut my hair like that.
Yeah. We've covered a
I
lot
am
of
going to cut my hair
Like the
the
humans.
way a human would like it.
Does this please you, human?
anthropological content.
I put a rubber band around my head and just went up to the rubber mat. If anyone was wondering if they want to cut their own hair this week. That's the
Ethan
other
Rivers,
challenge.
the rubber
Another
band
call to
man.
action.
Another call to action. Put a
Cut
rubber
your
band
hair.
around your head and cut up to that point.
I'm getting a filling on Friday,
Oh.
and I'm getting a cyst cut off my head on Monday of next week.
Wow.
Wait, on your hand?
Head.
Head?
Yeah.
Where's it?
Assist?
Yeah. It's like an underskin, just like a small little one. Some people are like,
It's
yeah.
just a small one.
I went to the dermatologist, and that's why my hand looks like this.
What'd they do to your hand?
They froze off some warts. I only saw one wart there, and then she just was
Dug
like,
some up.
I see some more, and then just starts freezing everything on my
Does
hand.
it hurt?
It didn't hurt as much in the moment as it did 30 minutes later. And it was just stinging so bad.
Sober.
But they have to hit all of these again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Life is a highway.
So just wanted to end us there.
That's such a good place to
If
end.
you another call to action, if you want to freeze your warts or get a small
Send us
under
a
this-
picture.
Send us a picture of your warts, and we will refer you to our exclusive partner, Georgia Dermatology.
Yes.
Love you.
Love you.
All right. Love you guys.